They burned Earth's outpost. Humanity answered with firestorms in orbit. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was deafening. Ambassador Kretak of the Zolonian Empire shifted uncomfortably in his biosuit as the holographic display showed the smoldering remains of Kepler Station. The human outpost had been reduced to twisted metal and ash. Its 300 inhabitants turned to vapor in the span of minutes. The humans were warned, Kretak announced to the assembled delegates, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who had never truly understood his prey. They refused to abandon their illegal mining operation in our territorial space. We simply enforced galactic law. Murmurs of approval rippled through the chamber. The younger species, those who had joined the council within the last millennium, nodded. Their agreement. Humans were newcomers, barely 2 centuries since first contact. Their single outpost had been a thorn in the side of established trade routes, and the Zolonians had simply done what needed to be done. But the older delegates remained silent. The Vorthak representative, whose species had witnessed the rise and fall of 17 galactic civilizations, kept his 4 eyes fixed on the empty human delegation seats. The ethereal collective's ambassador, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with what could only be described as concerned anticipation. "Where?" asked Elder Vashati of the ancient assembly, her voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years. "Is the human response?" Kretak's mandibles clicked in what his species considered laughter. "What response? We eliminated their only significant military installation in this sector. They have perhaps a dozen small colonies scattered across the rim worlds, no unified fleet, no strategic capability. The humans will submit to council authority or face the same fate as their precious station." The Vorthak delegate finally spoke, his voice a low rumble that seemed to emanate from the very walls. "Young Zolonian, how long have your people known warfare?" "We have conquered 17 systems and subjugated 43 species over the past 6,000 years, Kretak replied proudly. "The humans," the ancient being continued, "learned warfare on a single world. They spent millennia perfecting the art of destroying each other with limited resources, confined to one planet, forced to innovate or die. They weaponized everything, from pointed sticks to split atoms. They turned their very atmosphere into a battlefield. The chamber's temperature seemed to drop several degrees. That was before they reached the stars," Kretak protested. "They've been peaceful since joining the galactic community. Trading partners, explorers, scientists. They've shown no aggressive tendencies." The ethereal collective's ambassador pulsed a deep crimson. "You mistake restraint for weakness. We have observed human history. When threatened, they do not simply retaliate. They innovate. They adapt. They overwhelm." 3 days later, the Enjoy first reports began filtering in. A Zolonian patrol fleet had vanished near the Arcturus system, not destroyed. Vanished. No debris, no distress signals, no trace of the 12 warships that had been conducting routine border enforcement. They had simply stopped responding to communications and disappeared from all sensors. 2 days after that, a mining facility in Zolonian space went dark. When a rescue team arrived, they found the installation intact but completely empty. Every Zolonian worker, every piece of sensitive equipment, every data core, gone. The facility's automated systems were still running, but it was as if the population had been selectively erased from existence. Ambassador Kretak stood before an emergency session of the Galactic Council, his earlier confidence replaced by barely concealed panic. "We demand council intervention. These attacks violate every treaty governing civilized warfare." "What attacks?" asked the human representative who had finally taken her seat at the delegation table. Admiral Sarah Chen appeared calm, almost serene, as she adjusted her dress uniform. "We have received no reports of human military action in Zolonian space. Our fleets are disappearing. Our installations are being systematically—" "Admiral," interrupted Elder Vashati, "perhaps you could enlighten us about recent human activities." Chen smiled, and several of the older delegates felt their equivalent of spines tingling, certainly. Following the unprovoked destruction of Kepler Station and the murder of 300 civilians, Earth's Defense Council authorized what we call a proportional response. We're currently conducting strategic resource denial operations. Kretak's translator struggled with the human military terminology. Resource denial? We're taking your ships, Chen explained with the patience of a teacher addressing a slow student. And your personnel, and your industrial capacity, and your strategic materials. We're denying them to you specifically. That's impossible. Our vessels are heavily armed and shielded. Chen's smile widened. You're thinking in terms of traditional warfare, ship-to-ship combat, direct confrontation. That's not how humans fight when we're truly angry. We've deployed what we call dark fleets. Vessels equipped with technology your sensors can't detect, carrying weapons your shields can't stop. She activated a holographic display showing what appeared to be empty space. This is the current position of 47 human vessels within 5 light-years of this very station. You can't see them, can't track them, can't target them. They've been here for the past week, gathering intelligence, mapping your defensive patterns, preparing. The chamber erupted in chaos as delegates from multiple species demanded explanations, activated emergency protocols, and began calculating escape routes. How is this possible? Kretak whispered. Zilonians evolved on a world of open plains, Chen replied conversationally. You learned warfare through direct confrontation, mass formations, overwhelming firepower, intimidation through superior numbers. Humans evolved in forests, jungles, urban environments. We learned to hide, to ambush, to make the enemy's strength irrelevant through superior positioning and surprise. She gestured to the holographic display, which now showed Zilonian fleet positions throughout their empire, all of them marked with targeting solutions from invisible human vessels. Your people destroyed Kepler Station with conventional weapons, energy beams, and kinetic bombardment. Very traditional, very visible. We responded with quantum phase torpedoes that exist in parallel dimensions until the moment of impact, stealth frigates that bend spacetime around themselves, and nanoscale infiltration systems that can disassemble your ships at the molecular level. Elder Vashti leaned forward. Admiral Chen, what are your terms? Full reparations for Kepler Station. Formal apology to the families of the deceased. Recognition of human territorial claims in the disputed sectors. Chen's voice hardened. And Ambassador Kretak will personally deliver a written guarantee that Zilonian forces will never again target human civilian installations. Kretak's biosuit began displaying stress indicators. And if we refuse? Chen checked her chronometer. In approximately 6 hours, your homeworld will experience what we call an orbital firestorm. 47 cloaked vessels will simultaneously begin systematic deconstruction of your orbital infrastructure, space elevators, defense platforms, industrial facilities, command centers. Not the planet itself, mind you. We're not monsters. But your civilization's ability to maintain a spacefaring empire will be discontinued. The silence that followed was absolute. We accept your terms, Kretak said finally. Admiral Chen nodded politely. Excellent. The Dark Fleet will remain in position until full compliance is verified. Good day, Ambassador. As the human delegation filed out of the chamber, the Vorthak representative turned to his ancient colleague. How long? He asked quietly. Do you think it will take the other species to realize that the humans never actually removed their Dark Fleet? Elder Vashti's response carried the weight of eons. The smart ones already have. In the depths of space, unseen and undetected, 47 human vessels continued their eternal patrol. Watching. Waiting. Ready to remind the galaxy that humanity had learned a simple truth long before reaching the stars. The best way to avoid a fight was to make sure everyone knew you could win it.